We're back. The time is now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to NUFC Talk. We are live with the instant match reaction. Newcastle United beat Forest 2-0 at St. James's Park. Don't forget to smash the like button if you are watching on YouTube. Welcome to the channel. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. A special thanks to Ads K as we were leaving the live match commentary. He sent in a super chat. Thank you very much. And he said, massive 3 points. Great channel as always. So thank you very much, Ads. I appreciate your support. For some reason, I'm not even on screen. Anyway, we'll get that sorted. So regardless, folks, smash the like button. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you need to super chat as well, do that so we can get your opinion highlighted out there. Welcome, everyone. Gary, what did you make of this performance? Good stuff. We're going to share the link out there so people can call in and have their say as well. Woltemade, 4 goals in 5 games. That's massive. ISAK WHO. We were never going to need him. That is a fact. So what do you make of this game? I mean, although it wasn't really a pretty game to watch, was it?
No, well, like I say, I suppose you can class it a game of two halves, and that's exactly how I feel. It was first half was a little bit disjointed. There didn't seem to be a lot of cohesion between front and back. It was very rushed, very sporadic type of play. Again, no support, if you like, too wide, not enough support going in towards Woltemade in the middle. And by doing that, what you get is every time the ball goes up there, the ball just gets taken straight back off him. Without players running in behind and making it narrow, you're always going to have problems. And for me, that's what happened. It was very frustrating watch the first half, a game or a half of limited opportunities for both sides, to be fair, because they were both literally spoiling each other's play. The first formation, playing 5 at the back and 5 up top, if you like, for Forest, tried to overrun our midfield, and they were doing that to a degree. Some very poor play from J7 in the first half, some wayward passes, not really getting involved too much in the game. Again, the same with Ilanga and with Anthony Gordon. A little, some really good points, but then some really crazy stuff as well. Didn't really get going. Our back line didn't really look as though it was going to get, hurt. They weren't really given a lot behind. And now they've given Bruno Guimaraes the man of the match on Sky. But for me, I thought Malik Chow had a solid game, if I'm honest with you. He never looked in trouble. Played with his head rather than, his heart. Played everything sensible. Looked solid. Botman was rushed a couple of times. Played the ball in places that you didn't want him to play it. So, the one player for me that had a real solid and steady game was Malik Chow. So he gets my vote today. But second half, totally different side. We looked as though it needed something special. And at first, I thought there was going to be a foul given on Bruno, who obviously had a coming together with Gibbs White just inside the Nottingham Forest half. Referee didn't give it. It did just like a coming together, to be fair. He goes forward then and hits that absolute worldie into the top right bin. And that's what Newcastle needed. They needed something to steady them down, to get the nerves away from them. And if I'm honest with you, from that, I think, we looked more and more that it was going to be Newcastle that scored the next goal. They never looked like scoring anything. So for me, to get the penalty decision and to see Woltemade get his 4th goal was superb for me. And again, it was a worldie of a finish, even though it's from 12 yards, you've still got to put it away. And that was absolutely, like I say, top bin job again. So again, two well taken goals, no pressure on the kid. He looked like he'd been playing for us for years, to be fair, considering he hasn't. He's only just come into the club. So there's a lot of promise there. I just think we just need, if we're going to start with the two wide men, with Anthony Gordon and Elanga, they just need to be closer to Woltemade. They need some more diagonal runs in behind Woltemade to either move players away from Woltemade to get involved in the game, or get a chance and an opportunity themselves. For me, again, XG counts for a hell of a lot. If you're not creating anything, and we haven't really created anything from the width today, it looks a lot better when Murphy and Barnes come on. Yes, Nottingham Forest were stretched because they were a goal behind, 2 goals behind. So they were always going to be pushing bodies forward and leaving themselves wide open at the back. And we looked more comfortable once we took the pace off the park. Ball was being held up better. Intricate play was being nicely done. And like I say, the only thing for me that was disappointing was Malik Chow didn't get a goal, because I think he deserved it.
He had an opportunity to that. I mean, that would have been amazing. That would, I mean, they had that, but that was a good block by Sells as well.
It was.
You know, and for example, somebody sent us a super chat there on YouTube. So let's take a look at it. I think something to do with Woltemade. Here we go. Sam A, thank you very much. Big Nick played with tenacity today. You know, not a lot of goals for Woltemade. Not a lot of, you know, creation for him to be able to score. But he was always there. He came back to try to play, try to get the ball, always available. And I mean, you can't argue when a player does that. Obviously, you know, the penalty was executed to a perfection. But he also could have had 2 more goals, really, just by being there poaching on whatever scraps he could get to feed himself. You know, that he hit the post in the second opportunity. The first one, I think he did the same. Oh no, it was was it blocked? I think by Sells maybe. But regardless, he could have done something there. I mean, overall, it is a positive. We needed 3 points, no matter what. Interesting from Craig Hope here saying that no Forest players are to engage with Postecoglou post-match. He stood alone applauding the fans before walking off. Certainly drama going on in Nottingham from this. But Newcastle, if it would have been the other end, it would have been a lot of drama our way as well. With 3 points, we have making strides to mid-table, literally 11th in the league right now with 9 points. And so with teams like Man United, they got 3 points yesterday. You needed this. You needed this. Obviously, Man City are 9th right now, but they haven't played. They will play later on today. I think they will be playing it's their match. So either way, we need to start doing this. We need to start getting. It was important to do this right before the break, right? To go everybody with a positive mindset. I thought that this is exactly what we needed. So. Ian Iris says Cell suddenly turned into a super stopper. Didn't think it would get past him today. Well, it took us a while to score, by the way. You know, in that penalty, you know, that goal. Well, didn't take us a lot to score. As in that Bruno goal was unbelievable, but it wasn't really something that we created. It didn't reflect what was going on the pitch, right?
No.
Thank you to Michael McIntyre says for the super chat. Let's just get in there. Here we go. Toon. We will now open up the phone line so you can come on and have your say. If you're a Newcastle United fan, my pet went flying. If you're a Newcastle United fan, you can come on and have your say, ladies and gentlemen, via this link right here. Call in, no camera needed. Call in and have your say. So if you're a fan out there and just want to vent your spleen and whatever it is, really. I know a lot of people criticizing and talking about Dan Burn. Look, we already know what's going to happen. So what is the point to keep going at it? Nothing really will change unless Eddie Howe loses the game by it, unless we truly get skin on that side and then we lose the game. Unless that happens, unfortunately, there's no changes will be made. It's just kind of like what we said about Pope. If Pope doesn't make a mistake, Ramsdale will not come in the pitch. It's plain and simple.
I can see nobody's put it up that it was Dan Burn who got the assist for Bruno's goal.
Well, I mean, be careful. Don't hurt your back trying to reach for that one. But I mean, you do got a point there. You do got a point. That's I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of a mighty win type stat right there.
It is.
But But you know,
but that's what I said.
Again,
You know, sometimes as bad as players can be, and like I said, I didn't think he had a bad game. You know, like I said, he's going to be found out playing in a position that just doesn't suit his stature, right? And you are going to have players that cover sometimes. But again, you know, you've got to give credit where credit's due across the field of play. If you're getting skinned left, right, and centre, day in, day out, week in, week out, then fair play. He gets skinned once or twice, but so does Kieran Trippier, and nobody ever mentions it. And yet, when he goes to the other end, you know, he provides the assist for Bruno. And yeah, he was only a 2-3 yard ball, but he still gets the assist. Because if he wasn't there, who else would have been there? So, you know, for me, sometimes, as much as we have to be harsh on the lad, we also have to give him the pat on the back for doing what he has to do for the team. It's a squad game, this, not an individual game.
Yeah, Newcastle United fans, get on and have your say right now. A link is on the YouTube channel. So, Tiger Studios, welcome to the call.
Yes, lads. How's it going? How's it going?
Yay.
Yeah, we got the points. What do you got to say?
I'm happy, man. You know, like we needed those 3 points today, and we got it. Like Gary said, like the first half was boring. Second half, we turned up, and it took brilliance from Bruno. You know, and what a goal! And Woltemada's penalty, by the way. Honestly, I thought he skied it for a moment.
Yeah,
and like he needed that today. I think he deserved the goal. You know, everyone played well, apart from Alanga. I thought he was poor today, and Trippier. I thought Trippier was poor. But you know, one thing as well, Tonali, get this guy a contract because he is world class. He needs to be tied down like before anyone else in that team. So as soon as that director of football comes in, give him the contract. Honestly, he needs to stay. And yeah, you know what? I think we're building momentum now, you know? So we continue. And just, I want to say last thing, yeah, before I go, Chris. It's about Elliot Anderson, yeah? So, you know, like Eddie Howe was saying, like, he wants him to come back, and then the links were there, like, oh, Newcastle want him. Listen, I don't want this brother at this football club ever again. Yeah, he was shit. He was shit before he left. He's shit now. I don't know what anyone.
Stop cursing.
Sorry, I don't know what anyone sees in him. Yeah, and look today, he gave the penalty.
Well, he didn't penalty though. Bruno creeped up on him, and he swung his leg and got him.
But you know what, Chris? Honestly, like I don't want him at this football club. Like I don't know what anyone sees in him, and you know the only people that want him back, let's be real, are the Geordies. Yeah, because he's a Geordie. It's because he's a Geordie. If he was like someone else, like not a non-Geordie, they won't want him back, man. They would have ripped him today for giving the penalty away.
Burn is a Geordie, and I tell you, a lot of Geordies don't want him at left back. So
that's different. Like that's different. I don't want him at the club though. I don't want Elliot Anderson back at the club, innit? But I'm sure that's pissed off a lot of people. But you know, I'm happy in it. So we got the 3 points. I just think like the wingers need to do more going forward. You know, I know they get to like they do too many touches. You know, like, and they get to the byline, and then the end product is poor. So we just need to improve on that. But you know, I think we're slowly clicking. And Chow and Botman, I think they're too good together.
Yeah, they sure are.
You know, you
right,
can't drop
Tiger.
them. Well, that's
Thank
it,
you,
guys.
Robert.
I'll see you after the international break. Yeah.
Take care,
See you,
mate.
mate.
Take care, man.
Have a good one. There we go. And now we got Stephen Rock the Tune in the building. Stephen, how's it going, mate?
All right, lads. How we doing?
How you doing, mate?
I think I'm all right. Happy with the result because I guessed it.
Oh, you got it right there. Oh, I said
I got first time this season. I got the full result, so I'm happy with that. So I'm glad he got the penalty in the end. Anderson, I think he was slightly unlucky, but at the end of the day, he scissored him at the end of the day. You know, both legs were around his leg, and he took him down penalty all day. Maybe a bit harsh because it was right near the line, but you know, but it was in the box, and if players can't make those challenges, you know, you've got to be careful. But we still not 100%, even though we got a win. Still a lot of work to do. Even it was a good win in midweek, 4-0 result, but today we could have been punished at times. If it wasn't for that defence, I think we could have conceded. But I think we did enough just to win the game. It was some good performances by our players, but we still need more. I think when we weren't going to play some of the bigger teams, we're going to have to play a lot better.
Interesting. Well, I agree with you. I don't think we played the best. I mean, we were probably ended up being the better team of the two.
Oh yeah.
I think because we ended up executing some good plays, but and those count obviously. I mean, but that shot from Bruno, a shot that doesn't reflect what really was going on the pitch, as well as the penalty is something. It's an isolated play, but that's the opportunities that presented us to us, and we executed. So that's as far as that's concerned, it's good. I mean, but we do got to look in the mirror, and we still got to work hard because right now the form is still not looking. It's not looking good. I mean, the form is.
I think with Woltemade, soon as the players know where he's going, how to pass the ball to him, I reckon he'll get more goals. He got three. He's got three in the 3 Premier League games that he's been in. Only 2 players have done that before, Shearer and Les. So it shows that he can do it. But I think we get more goals out of him as soon as the players on the pitch know. I think players like Alanga being on the right-hand side is the perfect position for him, for putting that ball in for him. And I think as soon as these players get in there and they know how fast he can get in there, they'll be ready for him.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. So we got the Mighty Win now in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Mighty Win, welcome to welcome.
Happy little bunny. I kind of agree with a lot of what Steve said there. Though it wasn't a stellar performance, but
so you agree with that? Will you agree with that as well?
How good were those 3 saves that Sells made?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I mean, the just 2 of them just seemed to be miraculous. And eventually we opened the scoring. How did we open the scoring? Shot from the edge of the box. I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks that we're not shooting enough. So that occasion, Bruno took the shot on instead of looking for a little dink or a little pass. Took the shot on, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
And the good thing about that is he won the ball in the first place. Ball went to Burn, and he was ready for it. He was running forward, and that's what we need to be doing. We're not doing enough 1-to-1 balls.
Well, Burn today was I was kind of getting because I know for a fact he's going to get slaughtered if he gets caught, but
rightly so.
He was up there giving proper wing back work, and luckily at the minute we've got a central defensive cohort who are, magnificent. They just all move over either way, easy peasy. I'm saying we never looked like scoring. That was the Gibbs White chance, I suppose. But no, happy job done. Again, we're not there yet. We're not firing on all cylinders by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, that's
but
clear and evident.
That'll come as Steve was just saying, once they actually get used to playing that ball into Nick where he wants it. I think we'll see some very, very good.
And Malik Chow has just been absolutely awesome.
Oh, Malik Chow is on levels.
Malik Chow. He came from Milano to play with Denali.
Yeah, we gotta work on that.
It's already done. It's whizzing round.
We gotta make it rhyme. Though we gotta make it rhyme.
It does rhyme. Came from Milano to play with Denali.
But Malik Chow on levels that I have not seen a center back on those type of levels.
To play with Sandro, man. What am I talking about? Technology.
Come on, let's get back to Chow. Let's talk proper football here. You know, Malik Chow, I have not seen somebody that commands the box, that you can trust 100%, that can also get you started playing from the ground. That's really good with a header. That attacks the ball well when it's on the corner. Today he didn't have a goal because Sales was on the Oliver Kahn mode, and I thought that was it's something to look at Malik Chow. I'm telling you.
How good were those saves? Obviously, I haven't seen the replays.
They were excellent. They were excellent.
You know, because that would have made it a respectable scoreline. Would all been waxing lyrical, despite the performance.
Yeah.
You know, that could easily have been 5.
Yeah, we had Gary Moe in the background there. So, Gary, if you want to come on, just hit the link. Everybody else out there, Newcastle United fans, come on, get the link on YouTube and join the chat. Gary Moe now in the building, got his camera sorted. And Gary Moe, well, there we go. Now face to the ultra mega and on steroids happy clapper of Newcastle. You are levels. There we go. There we go. Levels never reached in the Toon. And Gary Moe, welcome, mate. What do you make of the game? You're muted, by the way. All right, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you, so you might need to be sorted. Are you on your phone or you're on your laptop and the computer? So if you're on your phone, it might be an issue, but it looks like you got a camera on anyway. So, well, actually, it's the other way anyway when it comes to that. So maybe you need to get your mic sorted. Either way, you know he's gonna happy clap, but we'll wait for him when he comes on. Yeah, we'll wait for him to come on anyway. Woodgate type Chow, yeah, but Chow, you can. I mean, go. One is available, the other one isn't. So it's plain and simple there. But I mean, Chow is unbelievable. Butman was decent. When you know, let's have a sensible conversation, right? You say that Burn and defense was all of that was great hunky dory, and it's correct. It's weird, man, because so you didn't see not Hudson Odoi, but I'm sorry.
I saw that he dropped one bollock, and by the way, recovered from it. Did his own recovery when the ball came over the top, and he tried bringing it down and around, and it came off the Forest player, so the Forest player was away. That was his one, you know, glaring error today, if you like. But then he recovered straight back and won the ball back. After a couple of ricochets, wore away with it.
Yeah, I unfortunately for Burn, it's not about him anymore. You know, it's about the unfair position that he's being played in. You know, he clearly.
Well, who else are you going to play?
I didn't say that he shouldn't be playing there right now. You can gamble on Kraft. Kraft has the speed and also the defensive capabilities to do that. So in that sense, you could gamble with him. But I'm not. Again, I don't want to pick an argument with Burn as a left back starting. But you know what you're going to get, which is not much. And my only thing about Burn is, you know, he should know what he's better at. He should know what he's good at. So he shouldn't gamble too much. He should always keep that his link from the attacker. And in this case was Gibbs White, who was getting past him left and right. You can tell Gordon and even
whoa, getting past him left and right. What a load of nonsense. When was Gibbs White getting past Dan Burn left and right?
Gary, what do you make of that, man? You're going to make, because you know it's not about me and win. It's just having a sensible conversation. But when you're obsessed with certain individuals, it's hard.
No, but he made an error, and I don't think that even was Gibbs White. Actually, I can't remember.
Well, it's like we said. Yeah, we said before, you've got to play what's available to you. Like I said, it's a squad game, and it's risk and reward. I think sometimes, you know, we are, you know, as soon as we see a player play out of position, and I said for me, I think Trippier probably made more mistakes than Dan Burn did today. Some of his ball playing wasn't brilliant, and we're expecting Dan Burn to be this all singing, all dancing left back. We know he's not. What we want Dan Burn to do is play to his strengths, and sometimes by playing to your strengths, you limit your movement forward. And what Eddie Howe wants him to do is get up the field and support the play. And that's what I said. When that's detrimental to the physical size of a player to do that continually, it's like asking, Woltemade to be playing a box-to-box midfielder. There's going to be certain aspects of that type of performance that you're not going to get the best out of somebody. So, for me, Dan Burn was in a position where he did.
We can hear you now.
We can hear you now, Gaza.
Yeah.
You've got a player who's playing to his best ability in a position that isn't a natural position to him. So sometimes, like I say, you have to take that bit of rough with the smooth, and always going to get a bit of rough with pacey wingers against a not so pacey fullback. And like I say, you saw Uncensored skin Kieran Trippier. Tonali had to cover him. No mention of that. And that's what I said. Sometimes you've got to take on board the fact that you've got to play in a position.
The only player that's
By
playing.
the way, how good technically is Trips? Some of the interplay between him and Tonali today, the two of them just showed they are levels above anybody else technically. I think anyway.
I think sometimes we overplay in certain areas, if I'm honest with you. We put ourselves under a lot of pressure when there's no need to. That is to our problem. Anyway, let's hear Gary's thoughts.
Let's go,
Gary.
Gary Mon. What do you make
in
of
the
him,
building?
Well, a couple of things actually that I've noticed recently, and I think this is the effect of having Woltemade in the team. Have you noticed now how much one-touch football we're playing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Through as we get through the midfield and on to start getting, in what they call that space between the midfield and the defence. How much
space.
now everything's going one touch. We didn't do that last season. I never saw very much of that at all. But they all seem pretty keen on it now. And I think Woltemade is having a massive impact on this team.
Yes.
And Eddie's recognised it and to play him by his strengths. And I think naturally he's bringing it because he is a one-touch player. And the people like Tonali thrive on that because Tonali is a one-touch player. That guy's just unbelievable. He's off the chart. Tonali. Some of his passing today. It's like he's seen the future 20 seconds in. And it's just like, the ball comes to him and it's like Beardsley used to be. Because if you ever watch Beardsley, he'd look around and he always give himself three options as soon as the ball came to him, which is why he could hit it first time anyway. And Tonali's like that. And I think Woltemade's like that because a lot of the times you saw today where the ball came to him and he hit it first time and it was off to another player. So, and I think this is actually having an impact on how Eddie is approaching the attack. One negative was that for the first sort of 20 minutes, we were playing really well. They were under the cosh, and I think the reason why was because we were playing down the wings. And it was putting a lot of pressure on their defence. We were getting behind them, we were getting crosses in. And then for some reason, it looked like they were getting back in the game. But we started playing a lot narrower and down the middle. And that suited them because they were crowding the middle. And it brought them back into the game. And our wingers went quiet until the end of the first half. And then you notice in the second half, we played with the wingers all for most of the second half, and we dominated it. In that period where we were playing narrow, I think we lost control of the game completely. And Forest were looking actually quite comfortable, and they were hitting us on counters, But once we started getting the ball wide again, then we dominated. And because we stretched the pitch and we stretched their defence and they couldn't cope with our pace, and we're very good at supporting the wingers as well. So and it brings like Tonali and Bruno into the game, because they love to support. And then you've got Woltemade in the middle who can he can receive the ball and ping it off to somebody, and it's all very effective. But I thought, by and large, it was a very acceptable performance. Nottingham Forest came with a plan, and it was working for them for a while, and it was really just to stifle us. I don't know whether you'd say it was damage limitation. They had a couple of chances, but I thought they played not too bad, when all's said and done. And
I think Forest played well enough for you to have, for those fans to have faith that they're not actually going to be.
It's clear and everything. Thank you, Sam A, for the super chat, by the way. Imagine our new back four, Chiao, Butman, Tino, and Ho. So thank you very much, Mr. Sam, for that super chat.
But
I agree with you.
I think we did well. I think it was a good day at the office when all said and done.
It was a good result, but you can tell the form is not there. I mean, the goals that we scored.
What is it you're looking for, though, Chris?
Play good.
I mean, the form isn't there because the team is still growing. It's still learning how.
For whatever reason, it's not there. For whatever reason, it's not there.
Well, not yet.
The goals that we scored are goals that are not out of context.
Well, maybe I'm misreading your comment, then, but you make that sound like a negative thing.
No, the form is not there. I mean,
all right, okay. Well, I'll go along with that because yes, it's plain to see it's not there, and then it's going. And I wonder now, then what he's going to do when Wissa is fit and he comes back, because
he's going on the bench.
Because I think you've got to keep.
Woltemade cannot come off.
I think you've got to.
Woltemade cannot come off.
Sorry.
Now you're gonna. Woltemade cannot come off. It's clear.
No, I agree with you. I think you can't bring. You're not going to swap one for the other because they're two different players, and I think Woltemade and Wissa together are going to be devastating. So it brings up the question: who do you drop? What shape do you play, and who do you take?
It's probably going to be. I would probably go and gamble for Joelinton to come out. Joelinton didn't have a good game today whatsoever. Giving passes away. I mean, shocking performance. And at the end of the day, you have to pick your poison. So if you want quality, then you got to take the guy with less quality.
Shocking performance. It wasn't a good performance.
Well, maybe it wasn't shocking because we're used to Joelinton not playing good as of late. So maybe not shocking was the word.
But funny enough, I said to the Ben the match today, about 60 minutes, I said, Bruno is sadly, J7 is sadly, he's right now, he's given us lots of 6 out of 10s, but we're only getting an 8 out of 10, about 1 in 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is time maybe to think about. But what a lovely problem to have when we've got Wissa in as well. Because then you can play Woltemade in the J7 rule as a 10 with Wissa up top.
I wouldn't go.
What are you? Wait, hold on. Now you've made a whole mess that nobody can understand. First of all, Joelinton is not a 10, nor is he playing as a 10. And now you're trying to put Woltemade in the Joelinton role. Make no sense whatsoever.
I would play Woltemade exactly how he's playing now.
Exactly where he's at, because look at that. I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
Just in front of him.
Gary Mo, now you turn your camera on, and now we are on the same page. Now you're talking some sense, man. It's unbelievable, this. You turn your camera on, and now we agree. Because you said Tonali and Woltemade one-touch play. That is spot on. Let me get to Tim from Washington, over there in the northeast of England. Welcome, Mr. Tim, one of the Toon twins. What do you make of the game?
Well, on that point, I think this is where Ramsey's a big miss, because for me,
that's another one-touch. That's another one-touch type midfielder.
Exactly, and in these sort of games, like I would play him against Forest at home and other teams at home. instead of Joe Linton. Like, this is where I think for me, you take Joe Linton out, because I agree in the first half, Jesus Christ, he was giving the ball away all the time, and he's a class player to have when you're playing the likes of Arsenal at home, where it's a physical game, and you need that physicality, and you need to defend a lot. But at home against teams who are sort of mid-table, whatever, bottom half, we need Ramsey. Even, to be honest, Miley, I wouldn't have been averse to Miley playing in this, because he's got to play games at some point. And I just think with Joe Linton, he has his limits. I mean, obviously, he stepped up more in the second half, I think, as the whole team did. But I just think this is where you've got to be a bit clever and take him in and out of the team, depending on who you're playing. With Malik Chow, I think one of the great things about him, not just his defending, but it's his incisive, quick passing that breaks lines. Like, I love Cher, but sometimes Cher, he waits and waits and waits, and he pings some amazing crossfield balls across the wing. But with Malik Chow, he sees a pass and he plays it quick, and it breaks those lines from in behind.
He'll hit a 40-yard grass cutter. You know, with Chow's Shaw is all about. He's a bit predictable at times. It's all over the top of the defence. But Chow, you don't know what he's capable of that. But today he did a couple, 30, 40 yard, and he hits them hard as well. They go like bullets through the opposing midfield, and they're bang on accurate as well. But the guy is just total class, isn't he? He's just total class.
When did you get that? Yeah, go on. Sorry, man. No, because Win doesn't rate Chow. He says that when Chow comes on, we gave up lead.
When have I ever said I don't rate Chow?
Have you not said? Let me ask you this: yes or no? Simple. Have you not said when Chow comes on the pitch, it's a stat that we give up the lead when he's on the pitch? Yes or no? Have you not said that? Yes or no?
I said that tongue in cheek. When by the way it was a stat.
So you're backing it up. So there you go. So
what
Tim,
I'm saying is, Chow, for me, hasn't yet done sufficient to merit the accolades that everybody's
has not done sufficient.
Plowing on him all of a sudden.
It's a long way to go, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's early in the season, so yes, we're not going to sit here and say Malik Chow is, the best thing ever since sliced bread, and that's it. He's in the first 11.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, we've got.
Let's have a bigger body of work to look at.
But he can't come up the same.
But he has started brilliantly. You've got to give him credit that he's slotted in as if he's been here for a long time. So he's new to the Premier League and doesn't look like that at all. So you've got to give him praise for that.
I was watching and I just saw at the back when him and Botman, when they had the ball, and they had a bit of space and they looked at each other and, it was a case of, right, what will we do? And I just thought, we're in good hands here.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is he can't come off this team. I think everybody's in agreement except Win. That he cannot come off this team whatsoever.
I don't think you can change those two now. You cannot.
Ooh, wait a minute. You cannot say. That's an interesting take, though, because now you said the two, meaning Botman, meaning when eventually the left back, we have a healthy left back at some point, you're dropping Burn?
Yep. Oh, you got to. You've got what for Botman? You've got to play. No, because you've got a successful back two there that are just getting better and better with every game. Which is
the thing is as well. We've got plenty of games.
I mean, you think of it
exactly, Tim.
How many teams in the Premiership would give anything to have two centre backs like them two? They're absolute. They're top quality, and you've got to start them. It's as simple as that. Make them the foundation of your defence. And Shaw and Byrne,
right?
Unfortunately, but they're getting on in years, and at their time they've been great and everything like that. But the time has come where they've got to start facing up to the facts that they're going to be back up because there's new kids on the block.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Byrne has been great this season. Do you know what I mean? At centre back. So I'm not going to diss Byrne, and I don't want to labour the point on the whole Byrne thing. It's been done to death, I think. But I think for me, Lewis Hall should come in when he's fit. You know, I don't know who you're playing, but that's who our first choice. It's not to say Dan Burn's a bad player. Dan Burn is really unlucky to be out the side if he is out the side at some point.
It's not you're not dropping him because he's playing bad, but you're just dropping him because it's evolution, isn't it? It's just evolution.
Let's go some super chats here. Sam A says, "Imagine." Oh, we said that one. Warren Denning, win is always right. End of. He's the oracle.
Cheers, Boki.
So there you go. And Boki telling, welcome to the bedwetter side. There you go. Win. Win.
Boki, I'm crestfallen, mate. I'll cry myself to sleep tonight.
Oh,
say what you've done. That's Boki.
So, but interesting win. So do you come to that realization now that we got Malik Chiao, the new Van Dijk, now we got Botman, doing well, fast. So now, do you come to? You're muted, by the way, Win. You come to the realization that it is what it is. You gotta
Malik Chow for me is a definite upgrade right now on Fabian Schär.
Yep.
If he can continue playing the way he's playing consistently, then he's an upgrade on Schär.
Well, he does. He's getting better every game, Win.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying hopefully that's exactly what we'll see. Mm-hmm. As regards Botman and Byrne for the left centre half position, there's plenty of games, as Tim said, for them both to get games.
Yeah.
And they need to play well to keep that spot, and that's exactly what you want in a team.
Well,
but I don't agree that Botman necessarily automatically supersedes Byrne at left centre back.
The thing is, it's lovely to be in that position where we can rotate such crucial positions, because you know that if we feel that, or Eddie feels he needs to rest Botman for a couple of games, you know for a fact that Byrne's going to come in and do a stellar job. So, I mean, we're pretty rich, really, and when you look at those
four centre backs, you could argue being like our best players in a way. We've got that isn't where any problems are for me. But every centre back that's played this season have done a brilliant job when they've came in, and like you say, it's an amazing problem to have. I think for me, further up the pitch is where we need to improve a bit. And Belanga, for example, he's a funny player because I don't think he's quite settled mentally. He's got the attributes in terms of his pace anyway, but to me he seems to overcomplicate things, and he's dribbling with his left foot sometimes. And I understand you want to be two-footed so you're harder to read for the defender, but I just think don't overcomplicate it. Keep on your right foot and go on the outside and just whip the ball in. You've got an echo.
Yes. Yes.
There we go. Sorry about that. Right. Is it good? It's gone, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, it's a good problem to have, but why is the team still not clicking though fully? Because it's something that we're not creating chances. Woltemade was completely out. Is it? Are we missing the trick here? Are we missing the point that listen, Tonali is class, Bruno is class. So
it's midfield.
Process of elimination here, folks. Not that hard.
I disagree. I don't think it is a midfield. I think it's you're out your mind, man. We are having to adapt to a different forward than ISAK. For 2 years, we have geared our attack to feed the goat.
What attack?
Now we haven't got him there, so we have to, start again in that respect, if you like.
Well, to be honest, when you think about it that way, we actually we're playing without one really directly, because Woltemade is kind of having to play two roles. He's having to play the 10, and he's also having to kind of try and fill in the penalty area where the 9 would be, so it's when Wissa comes back, it's going to be a completely different ball game altogether. But what the team are doing, when like Chris, you ask, why is it not clicking and stuff like that, it's because I think the team are getting through this period, and they're still getting used to each other and a new system of playing and what Eddie's asking them to play. They are having to adapt. You've got Alanga, who's still kind of finding his pivotal role, So it's when they all understand and they can kind of like do things almost without thinking, then you'll see that what you're talking about happening. But right now, they're they're just they're on the beginning.
I think you could see it today in the first half with Trips and Alanga. There was about 3 occasions when I'm screaming at Alanga, get on your bike, for to give Trips a ball. And then there was other occasions when Alanga was making the run and not getting spotted. Whereas back in the day, it was when Trips and Miggy were on that thing, he knew exactly where Miggy was going to be, and he knew he could ping it up there and rely on Miggy's pace. And that's exactly what we need to develop again.
It is coming. Again, you can see it coming.
Of course you can, yeah.
Which is exactly what I'm saying with Woltemade, isn't it?
He's the key, though, you see, and he's had such an impact on that team that actually maybe a little bit much is going through him. But it's nice the way they're doing it, because Tonali and Bruno now, as soon as they get the ball, I noticed it on Wednesday against the Belgian side, especially Bruno. As soon as he got the ball, he pinged it straight like a dart to Woltemade. Right? But you can't keep expecting Woltemade to get the ball with his back to goal and keep turning his player all the time, because their defender actually got wise to that, and he intercepted him quite a few times. He got
in the second half. He did,
and so you're being a bit unfair on Woltemade there, but
100%.
when he's got the release, when Wissa comes in, it's going to open up the game for Woltemade, and I'll tell you, that guy is just going to be.
It's unbelievable.
Exceptional. I told you, didn't I, when we signed him, that I was doing cartwheels round the house, because I'd watched him in the Euros, and I couldn't believe that we had signed him.
Super chat there, Win. You want to tell us who it was?
Warren Denon, we need to utilise our centre-backs with our full-back pros. I'm not sure what you mean by the pros, Warren, to be fair, but...
So we got a kind of a situation here with Lewis Hook. Eddie Howe on Lewis Hawes, he says, and quote, he felt his hamstring versus Union. It's a real blow for us. He had it scanned and needs a rescan in 10 days before we know the time scale. It won't be a short-term injury, but we're hoping it won't be a long-term either. So basically nothing there. It's a middle-term injury. So I mean, what do you guys make of that injury blow, to say the least, Lewis Hall?
Well, the first thing it does is it scotches all the nonsense that's been going around about Eddie not putting him on the bench because he doesn't want to drop Dan Burn and da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. So if he's on the bench, he has to face that criticism. But if he isn't on the bench, he doesn't.
What do you think? What do you think about putting Murphy at left back, Alex Murphy? Because he's played there before and he did very well, and I don't know why he's depending on Trivia when he's got Kraft there. Because I'm a big Kraft. I'm a big fan of Kraft. I think he does a sterling job every time he comes in, and he's really good. Bombing down the wing, he knows how the team play. I don't understand that, but I would actually give Kraft a run at right back, and maybe put Alex Murphy in there on the left rather than Dan Burn, and sit Dan Burn on the bench for a while, because I mean, I don't know, I just don't.
Oh, Gary, me and you was gonna fall out, yeah, sir.
Well, no, but you cannot, because Botman, come on, Win. You've got to pick Botman over Burn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry, he's right.
you have
He's
to.
right.
I mean,
He's
Wayne, but
right.
why do you have an issue with that, Wayne? I mean, why is that burn in your soul that you can't just choose what's best for Newcastle
Because
United?
it's centre back. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He's been our best defender all season.
But if Botman is better, why don't you choose Newcastle
Well,
United?
I don't necessarily think Botman is better.
Whoa,
I'm not saying
whoa,
Botman's shit,
whoa.
but I just don't think he's better than Dan Burn.
Wow. And
They
you
both played well, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? They both played well this season, so I think it's pointless kind of like going around in circles.
Exactly. It's personal
making
preference at
one
the end of
bad
the day, I
and one good.
suppose.
Aye. I mean, I'd play Botman, but I think with Burn left back,
And yes, you're perfectly entitled to that opinion.
Well, hold on, Tim. Why would you play Botman then?
I just think some of his forward passing is a bit more incisive, and it allows us to
there we go.
get those attacks started. Burn's a good passer as well, but I just think
agree with Tim.
Tim, don't you think Botman reads the game better?
Yeah, I think he's an absolute beast. And I just think he's an all-round immense defender, and he's got everything. And I think that he is the future. And
I agree with that.
We need him to be cemented in that team, hopefully, so that if we do well, he's settled, and we don't have another ISAK situation, when Liverpool or whoever come in for him. And if he's not playing games as well, he's like, well, okay, I'm not even playing here, so I want to go. But look, Dan Burn is quality as well. And Dan Burn, I think, is underrated on the ball just because of his height. It's as if he can't play. He can play. I know he can. But I just think that Botman overall has the edge. It's nothing like, I don't mean black and white. It's they're both good players. And with Burn left back, there's no choice for me. I mean, yes, you could play Kraft left back, Trippier. You could do that. Maybe. Let's see. But for me, I'd play Burn left back because it's the best of
I just think Botman's got the better football and brain. Burn hasn't done anything wrong. You can't knock him. He's been absolutely a rock for us. But I just think there comes a time, and I think the time is now, that what we've got here is we've got Chow and Botman, and it's time to actually say, right, no, this has to be it from now on, because the two of them, sometimes you watch them too, and they're just defensively, they're as good as anybody.
But it's a big task now for Newcastle United because both fullbacks out. It's in long-term injuries too. I mean, I don't care what this middle, short, not short, but not long either. I mean, you're gonna be out for weeks. So Niall Powell putting the win in jail here. Jail for win for blasphemy, saying Burn is better. So there you go. He's knackered in prison right now. But
free win.
What's happened to Harrison Ashby?
Well, that's interesting because what about Shahar? He's you gonna tell me they're not good at all whatsoever.
Ashby was playing really well pre-season, and then all of a sudden he's not even in the squad, is he?
Well, he only had one game pre-season, Gary, and that was in midfield.
Yeah, but he looked good and he was sharp, and he's a good player. And I mean, if you're stuck for right back, I can't understand why he's not there. And then you could swap the left back positions with Trippier and Murphy, and take the weight off each of them. But you could, and then on the right you've got Kraft and Ashby that you can rotate if you need to. But I mean, the thing is, you see, Eddie knows what he's doing, and I don't. So he's got his reasons, which I'll never be privy to. But these are the things that get us all in a bit of a quandary, aren't they? Because why is he not doing this, and why is this happening? Why is that?
That's why we love football.
But we don't know, do we? We don't know. So
let's go with some comments here as far as the fans are concerned. They want to have their say. So let us go with some star comments from some of them very beginning. Niall Powell there celebrating 18 months of membership win, needs to take his Burn blinkers off. There you go. Steve Gotti, I think today's result covered up many cracks. We were poor most of the game and the same problems all season, says Steve Gotti. Adnan Ali, these fans want Ilanga to a fullback because the midfielder is not performing, and we have a right back. He is slow as a snail with no language, ball vision, and can't cross. That's Ilanga's fault. He just got man of the match. He got man of the match, Ilanga? I didn't know that.
No.
Surely
he got a man
not.
of the match in Belgium, didn't he?
Oh, Belgium,
Yeah,
yeah.
Thursday, he did, yeah.
At the time, well, he did good there. Mandy
Bruno,
Powell.
I think
Well,
Bruno got man of the match.
Mendy Pyle says, mighty win to say Byrne is better than Botman. That's just give me a head turn. Botman is better center back. He is a great defender, and Byrne for me is a good center back. So from good to great. There you go. It is biased, though. It is a Jordy bias. I get it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, she's right. She's right.
No, I'm saying no. Jordy bias isn't like Win. Win has Jordy bias, and
Ah.
he wants those kids to he wants 11 Jordys. I get all that nonsense. So.
You can get medicine for that, when it boots.
Well,
I don't need any medicine. I've got the evidence in my eyes.
Oh well, let me you go get him. Go to Specsavers, get him checked because the evidence is.
I've been to
not looking too
Specsavers. I
good.
was there the day I bumped into everybody.
There you go. By the way, that joke, man, is losing its
And
shelf life.
you keep on giving us the feed.
Jaden says we need another left back in January who can compete with Hull. We can't depend on Dan Byrne when Hull is injured. So the question, if those lads from the academy are not good or reserves are not good, and we agree that if we can all come into agreement that Byrne is right now being put there because there's no choice, and so should we go in January and go get a fullback then?
No, I think we
I
need
would
another
say
centre.
so.
I think
It
we need
depends on the
another centre forward.
situation with Tino and Lewis Hall.
Another center forward.
Yeah. I think what you first of all, I think we've got to find out what's actually happening with Wissa. I don't think you can go through a whole season.
There is
rumors.
There are rumors on X. Take it for what it's worth. That I don't know who's saying. I don't know who, but some people saying that he's done his ACL. So
Well, I heard something was mentioned earlier. It's going to be longer for him coming back, so he's not going to be back after the.
we don't know. We can't confirm that, of course, here, but
No,
if that's the
but
case,
I've seen it a couple of places.
I mean, if that's the case,
Then again, you look at Asula over the last 2 or 3 games, and it seems to be such a change in him. And he's maybe if we could start giving him more time on the pitch, we might start seeing something. Me and you had this chat, didn't we, Win? About this. There's something. His whole body language has just seemed to have changed. His awareness seems to have changed. He's not running around like as if he's got to prove himself. He seems to be playing with a lot more kind of awareness and responsibility. And that through ball.
Got that echo back.
That's not me.
sorry, go. Go on.
Go on, guys.
Right. Is that all right?
Yeah, keep going.
All right. So I thought that the way for the 4th goal there in Europe, the way him and Barnes linked up, and then it would have been the case even at the beginning of the season that Asula would have just been head down and gone for it. But what impressed me about him is he got his head up and had a look to see what his options were. And then he played that pass beautifully through for Barnes to put in. And that Asula wouldn't have done that even 3 or 4 games ago. And his pies and everything just seems to have changed. I don't know whether something's just clicked with him on the training pitch or whatever. But so he, it might be worth giving him the time to put him in the role that we're going to play Wissa and see how it works, because it can only benefit harder. In my opinion, course.
Super chat there, Win, go.
Keep winning balls, behind balls, I think it means, for being Burns left back, happy clappy.
There you go. Happy clappy. Michael McIntyre, Bill.
Oh, there's
man.
Malcolm McIntyre. Bill for win.
Come on, man.
That goes back. You're out your mind, man.
I don't know what is wrong with that thing, man.
It's when you funny on with your little...
I'm not doing anything, man. Let me see. So, thank you, Michael McIntyre. We're going to finish up pretty soon, though. Good game, but...
good result.
Go.
Good result.
Good result. That's the way it should be phrased. Good result. Irish Assassin Cell suddenly turned into a superstar.
He did, didn't he? He turned into Rummenigge. Not Rummenigge, man. Donnarumma.
That's how much Win knows about football.
Are you stupid or what?
There we go.
And by the way, somebody's right there. The referee again was a joke in terms of...
The important thing is you get the result, right? Now, it's a premiership. Not every team you're going to come up against, you're going to be able to bally dance around and play perfect football. Teams will come, especially at St. James's Park, to make you grind out the result. And we did that. We scored 2 goals, and Woltemade scored one of the best penalties I've ever seen in my life.
That's the way to take a penalty.
That was.
Did you? Well, you said earlier, didn't you? That I think it was it Tim that said it thought he'd skied it, but I thought it was going.
The way he hit it,
I didn't say that, but I did think that at the time.
When he put, I thought it was going about 6 foot over the bar. But,
yeah, true.
Just get LDSs through it and hit it.
Well, he didn't do that though. He opened his foot and put it there. He didn't.
Keeper didn't even move.
No. Kevin, I'm telling you, lads, we need a better passer in midfield to create for Big Nick. That's what I'm saying. Joe Linton might need to be out.
That'll come.
Bruno's getting his range. Ramsey. But if Ramsey comes in, he might be able to ride that potentially.
That's it.
Exactly. That means you got to bench Joe Linton.
Yeah. These sorts of games, that's what I would do, and have Ramsey in. Like I say, even Miley, I'd be tempted to play Miley in that position.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've just got to be patient because we've got key players, or players that are going to be key players, aren't in yet. So basically, we just got to keep going the way we're going, pick up the points, and then when we've got the whole team, when we've got people like Ramsey and we've got people like Wissa, and Eddie can play the team that he wants to play in the style that he wants them to play, then we'll see. But for now, it's a bit premature to be hypercritical about, they didn't play well and this, that, and the other. Just keep picking up the 3 points.
Right. And as I say, I mean, that could quite, if Sells hadn't suddenly turned into Rummenigge, that could quite easily have been 4 or 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Chowney got on the score sheet apart from a wonderful save with his foot. But, it could have been win. It could quite easily been 5-0, that.
Yeah. Joe Linton had a bit of a stinker, says Tino, still bullied Elliott. But I think he got carried away, though. He got carried away with that.
Until you can find a formula where you either get your wingers in close to Woltemade or you get one of your midfielders. And unfortunately, I've got graphics in front of me and I still don't see it. I've watched the game as much as I can, and I pinpoint certain areas. Joe Linton doesn't. He did it today to a degree on the inside left position. Tonali, you're expecting all your midfield 3 to go box to box for 90 minutes across, umpteen games in 20 odd days. And you can't do it. And the problem is with Newcastle, they haven't got the quality on the bench in the midfield to cover the lads to get the same out of those on the bench. They're better than they used to be, the lads on the bench, but they're not a Tonali and they're not a Bruno Guimaraes. I think this potentially could be the last season for Joe Linton playing as a centre midfielder. What Newcastle are desperate for now to release the reins on Tonali and Bruno is a decent 6. Somebody who can sit in the slots and can hold position and free up Tonali to go and play with freedom, box to box, as we know he can do. The biggest problem for Tonali, as soon as he goes forward and we lose the ball, he's breaking his neck to get back into position to support the team, because with J7 and Bruno, you haven't got pace in the side in the midfield. So if we lose on that transition of going forward, if we lose the ball and have to get back, there's only one player out of those 3 that can get back. I think we need if we can get a brand new 6, and you talk about going for another centre forward at January, we're desperate for a right back. That is where we are really lacking now, with the likes of Tino now playing with Hall more left-sided and covering the right side. I think if Eddie looks for anybody in January, it should be for a right back, because you've got an elder statesman who's probably coming to the end of his Premier League career. And I think you've also got a lad who probably, even though Gaz was saying that Kraft does a job for us, I think doing a job for us in the Premier League moving forward isn't always what you need. You need players that can get down the wing, support, and that is the problem with Newcastle. You've got individuals of quality that can change a game, rather than a squad of quality that can dominate a game.
Even Crafts is the wrong side of 30 now, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he is, but he's never really had the quality to be, that quality fullback.
Yep. We got to call it a day, though. Thank you to everyone out there. We got one last thing to share with you. But before that, thank you to Sam A., Michael McIntyre, Warren Denning, Niall Powell, Ads K, Michael McIntyre again for the super chats. Thank you, all of you, for that. Appreciate it very much indeed. The Chronicle reporting the Bruno playthrough pain barrier to inspire Newcastle's win over Forest. Bruno took a hit on his legs in midweek against Union Saint-Gilloise and played today not fully recovered. So we're taking some hits, ladies and gents. Hits and bumps.
Can I just add one thing? The women came from 2-0 down and scored on the 87th and 98th, wasn't it? 2-2.
They were losing last time I heard, so there you go. They came back.
2-2 draw.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Gary. The other Gary. Thank you, Mighty Win. And we'll be back again with, by the way, we're working on the Happy Clappers smoky atmosphere drinks type show.
This is going to be called Happy Clapper TV shortly.
You've come to the dark side. You've come to the dark. You put your camera on. Now see the critical thing.
You're going to be asking me and Win if you can come on the show.
We also say you and Win should do a show.
Nothing wrong with that. We'll see you later on, folks. Take care.